This is that tamarack. Tamarack seems to have a pretty nice grain look to it. Really like it. There we go. Got to get those down to where they're on the wheels. There we go. Bigger logs, man, are harder to work. Whew. I'm hoping by doing it that way that I won't have to get a log just for doing the siding on that thing. Would be nice. All right, here we go again. In there. Not too worried about waterproofing these because I plan to keep it dry down here. That's my goal. Stuff is dusty in here. Keep being twisted here. Alright, this time it should be right. Took a ½ inch off. I don't know how I got it mismeasured, but that's okay. It's been one of them days. Any of this. I could have made this one just a tad longer. This last piece in for today. So after 4 on Sunday, I think I'm going to take the rest of the day off after this piece is done. yellow jackets around here. I got stung the other day again. Right in the back of my back, right in the lower spine. What a place to get hit. Alright, that's all she wrote. Really, what I think I should do next is take my used oil, go over this and see how it looks, because all this stuff will get covered up, so I don't really care. I know it's going to help protect it, so I think that's what I'm going to do is I'll go over this stuff. I'll get a brush and some of my old oil from my tractor, which was after 50 hours, so the oil's really clean still. But that being said, you know, I want to see if it'll protect the wood. So I'll throw a little diesel in there, kind of to make it a little more thin so it'll seep into the wood. I don't want it to get on the ground at all. So I'll just brush all the surfaces and let that soak in while I'm working on some of the other stuff, making my boards and stuff, and then I'll come back and start putting my boards on over it. Alright, I have a couple trees here that I think I'm going to take down. This one here and the smaller one right here. Reason is I can't lift that big 25-foot log, and I plan on doing bigger ones than that. So I would like to put this ramp in use. I can move that pulley system to the other side of this mill, and then the two metal ramps can go up here. This is the high side, so I can shorten those ramps up, and I'll have a gradual slope up, not very much of one really. Maybe move this to right about where I'm standing here, which is pretty central, and then I can run my tractor up here, run a pulley system and my winch, and I can just pull a log right up in here. I'll have where this other row of trees are behind this tree and that tree. I've got a good 8 to 10 feet of clearance, so I can pull a log up here, put it on the ramp, and probably pull it right on up, no problems. Rather than, one of the guys on the Norwood forum suggested lifting each end separately and putting it up, which I could do, but I'd really like to put this to use, and so far it hasn't been useful for me. I haven't been able to pull up anything. I've been using my tractor. So at this point, I'm going to start delimbing this and this one here on this side, because my goal is to follow this. We're talking this thing's maybe 3.5 feet, 3 feet from the mill here. This one's about 5 feet away. This one will be easy peasy to drop this way. So my whole plan is to drop this thing without hitting my mill. It would have been really a lot easier if I did it all before. But I'm going to take off any weight off this one side, and that way I'm hoping, because it has a little bow to it that swings this way, and I'm trying to avoid it from hitting my mill. I'm going to delimb these as high as I can. I'll grab my ladder, climb up a little ways. I was trying to avoid getting on a ladder. But yeah, I'll get this cleaned up. Okay, so my goal is to notch this tree down here and try to get it to fall. So I'm going to go ahead and film me getting it prepped. I got to do a plunge cut through here, leave a little tag at the back, and then I'll cut through that after I put wedges in the plunge cut. So I've got these shorter wedges for the plunge cut, and I'll put one in each side, and that should help promote the fall to go in the direction I want it to go. Alright, let's fire up this bad boy right here. So I went in a little deeper than I would have liked to have. I don't know that I can get a decent plunge cut. I'm going to try. Yeah, I'm going to try and go plunge cut just a tad higher than the wedge that I put in. And I'll try and do it from this side here. So the plunge cuts through. I managed to get it through there. I've got a slight tag. So now in theory, these will help guide it. And in theory, this will help guide it. When I cut through here, there's just about an inch I have, and in theory, I'm going to reposition the camera. It's going to fall between the mill and all these trees here. So let's get her fired up and hope for the best. It's a small tree. If it does go awry, let's hope it doesn't damage the mill. Let's hope it doesn't go awry. That's not what I was hoping for. But the nice thing is, it didn't hit the mill. So what I got to do now is I've got to take a rope, get it on there without it falling, because it's just touching that tree there. And so I should have aimed a little more to the left or towards my mill, but I was afraid I'd hit it. So I'm not upset about it. I mean, I could maybe even just push it over, but I think I'll just hook a come along up with a deal. There's a tree over here, and I'll just pull it enough over so that it just falls. So bear with me here while I get it hooked up and we'll film this catastrophe of this tree. You can just see my winch cable, okay? This thing runs all the way over here. Just ahead of the tractor there, you can see a leaning tree. And let's see if we can winch that baby down. All right, that took a bit of pulling. We're within 2 feet, but we're good. It's done, it's down, that's one. I'm gonna take a lunch break, I'll come back. I've got another one right there where the ladder is. That's the one I delimbed earlier. So I gotta get this other one that we just fell out of the way. I'll do that after lunch. Once that's out of the way and delimbed, we'll start on the next one. Okay, right in the center here, you can kind of see a ladder behind a tree. That's the next tree to cut down. I've delimbed and moved the other one to the side. I'm gonna try and drop this one right next to it. I've already tied a line to it with about 8 foot of slack. I'm hoping that if this thing does fall this way, that as it gets down lower, it'll swing away from this. But ultimately, I hope this never comes into play. And I want enough slack that it didn't cause any interference. So, it's going to get a little noisy here. I'm going to fire up this. I'm going to cut it the same way I did the other one. There goes something. It's always a good feeling when it doesn't hit something you don't want it to. I'll walk over here and show you. Alrighty, I thought I'd show you where we landed. We did clear the mill. We are next to the other log. We're a couple feet from the log that I originally dropped and moved over. And you can see we're about, I'm going to say about a foot, maybe 15 inches, not even that probably, from the mill, but plenty of clearance. And you can see it's right where I removed the limbs. morning. Supposed to get up to like 99 today. Again, it's just warming back up again. Hopefully I can get this stump just below the ground level. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning and it feels like it's 77 out. Alright. I think I'll work on this other one over here real quick. You can do it. There we go. I don't have to be very far down. Higher, more leverage. Hopefully, my little tractor can handle it. I'd say that was successful. All right. Let's get the dirt filled back in on these and pull that log through. I got the log hooked up already. I did that during intermission. I'm sure if it was completely dry, the tractor could do it no problem, but what's most important is that I can take a 25-foot 6x12 beam, whether it's green or not, and lift it with that tractor. That is the test. And be able to lift it 8 feet high would be ultimate, or even close to it. And then I can start staggering the ends to get them up on the highest point of the wall, or towards the roof, or whatever I got to do. I'll figure it out. Where I'm building, there are not going to be any trees around to use with cables and winch stuff up. I've got the stuff to do that I bought prior to buying my property, because I didn't know what I was going to end up with, and I wanted to make sure I got everything I could, because I know being off grid, there's not any way for me to get anything here special ordered, because they won't deliver out here. Good luck finding me. All right. So we're going to try something here. Try and get into a better lighting here. So you can see I got the log strapped in. I need to bring it past this corner without hitting the corner of my mill. So I put a pulley in around a tree up here. So I'm going to use that to keep it away from that, hopefully. And I've got the tractor, cleared some limbs. I got the tractor sitting right here. So we're going to attempt to use a hydraulic winch to pull that log through there. So I'll go ahead and get you set up here so you can see what's going on, and if it looks like I'm in trouble, I'll just stop what I'm doing. I won't keep going. I'll just pull it slowly and see what happens. And this is just temporary. I'm going to come up with a better fix later on. I'm going to clear all the limbs to the side of the picture there on those plants and see if I can't make it so I can drive through here with a tractor. And even at that, I'm going to put a barrier system in, just or probably not even parallel, slightly angled, to deflect any logs when I come through. And maybe put a log every so often alongside here, so if it rolls down, I'm going to try and level this out, but if it rolls towards the mill, it'll hit a log before it hits the mill. So I got some work ahead of me. Let me fire up the tractor and see what happens here. All right, so that's as far as I can get at the moment. Maybe if I rehook up here, I can pull it a little further and then start pulling it normally. So that worked out fantastic. Get this rope loosened up here and see if I can drag it on back here and hook up again. I don't know why I'm screaming. I got the mic right on me here. Not quite used to all this filming stuff yet, so I try different things on my videos, as you see, constantly trying something different. Let's see here. That worked out just fine. So let's get it out of that pulley though. I'll just leave the pulley system here. I have a feeling I'm going to use that a lot. Even though I'm going to refine this whole thing, it'll all get refined. You can see how much I dig up the dirt here, pulling through here. It didn't really dig down, and we're above the two stumps. I think this is right on. No, yeah, it might be right on the one stump. I don't know. But I'm pretty pleased with that. It didn't hit the mill. Although this is sloped in here and I haven't tried to level it out yet. So if I do drag this thing in here, it may want to try to roll down. So I guess I could I could watch it as I pull it. I could also hook the pulley system up to another tree over here and keep it pulling this way, because right now it's probably going to pull it right through here, which is sloped. The other option would be to take out all these limbs, turn around, take the forks off the bucket, and just kind of bucket this flat as I can, and throw some dirt down in this area that I walk in, because it doesn't need to be that low now. That was something I did a while back when I was getting ready to put the mill in. I was leveling out things as much as I could, and really it takes a lot of work to level out a slope. I mean, there's a lot of soil there. So yeah, I'm just trying to determine here, what should I do? It'd be nice to keep that log up, and I'm afraid if I pull it, I'm gonna have to reposition my tractor. I'm afraid if I pull it without the pulley system, it might tend to roll this way, and I don't want the heavy end to roll that way. I mean, this log is so heavy I can't hardly move it myself. It rolled once out of my control down the hill, and it was about the same slope. Yeah, I think I'm going to do some delimbing here on these trees. Then I'll come back to you guys after I've tried to level this out a bit. I'm going to play it safe. That's so heavy, if it comes down here, it's going to screw things up. I can't have that. All right, so I delimbed over here towards the log. It's all delimbed. Next project before it storms here, it looks like it's changing. The weather's getting dark. I'm going to grab the tractor, turn it around, and let's see if we can level some of this out, and I'll film some of that. So I was bound to hit some roots. That's why I'm skimming it to start with. And redumping because I want to kind of get my rake out and rake this down. I'm going to have to do some of this by hand, obviously. get over that root. See if I can start out over that root. And there's a bunch more roots, I'm sure, so I'm not really wanting to kill these trees. I'll work around the roots. I won't cut them. Get on this side of the root. Come back through. There's another root I see that I skimmed over. Well, hello. This will be the end of this segment. I've got the deck done. This is the way it's going to be made. I'm not going to put a surface on it except for right below me here to my left. This is the storage area. So I am going to do a 1-inch board over the top. Underneath that's going to be a waterproof membrane just to keep that dry down here. So I'll put some 1-inch strips through here to match the same height. That's the only other thing I'm going to do back here. And that way when I run my wood like this stuff, it'll be up above enough that air can get underneath it and everything. So I might do 1.25 inches and do a 1/4 inch batten over the seams on this so that they're lifted here too. Then I don't have to put stickers underneath there. I've got them all made. You can see to my right here, I've got wood like that already made. I know this is going to be really impossible to see from so far away, so I'll walk up here. Nice thing about this deck that I built, originally I was going to do it as a regular deck, but I decided to keep it like this. I'm going to put 3 timber style posts back here and 1 on each end over here because I want to be able to get big timbers up here to dry for my cabin build. So think of a pergola. If you know what a pergola looks like, it's all basically rafters running across. It's open. You can put, I'm not worried about putting a waterproof across the top. I'll put a shade screen that can drape over it. In the wintertime, I'm going to pull that off because I get lots and lots of snow here. And I don't want to worry about a load on a roof of this thing. Now, I'm not worried about the load being on this because this is going to be very, very strong. I'm probably not going to stack any higher than 5 feet on this at any given time. And that being said, I think that the pergola will look nice because when I'm done building around this place and everything's done, I am going to probably deck this completely and use it as a leisure area. So I may even set up a cooking station for barbecuing here, whatever, and still be able to use it as a wood drying station for smaller jobs. The big job is going to be the cabin and the shop or garage. Everything else is going to be small. I just wanted to cover a few things. So you've seen this pretty much built. Right now you see where I've left off. I'm trying to make it so I can get big logs that I can't lift with my tractor on the other side of the mill so I can ramp it on up. The ramps come out almost perfectly level at the top on that side. So I just got to finish working that area. I didn't do anything today because I had to take my dog to the vet. She's got an eye infection and I want to get that figured out. So we're trying to get that fixed. So my day was going to town. It's a 2-hour round trip. And then on top of that, if I go shopping, which I make it all count, I had to go get a chainsaw chain, had to do some shopping, I had to do my laundry. By the time I'm done, I'm there 4 hours. Half the day is gone by the time I get back because it's another hour drive back. Anyhow, I'm going to continue working on this. You're going to see the storage area built and finalized. You will see me finishing up over here. I may start building the pergola above this year. I was going to wait till next year, but I may just go ahead and start it now. I just got to get out and cut some more trees down. The only other projects I have coming up that I want to do is build over here. I want a place to put logs, which I'll cut to 16 inches for firewood and split. So I'm going to store a lot of that down here because my place is going to be just over there. And that'll be nice and close, but I want to keep all my wood in the same area in case of ants and all that stuff, you know, carpenter ants and whatnot. I don't want them coming over to the cabin, and the cabin's going to be made out of wood too. I don't know if you can tell, I took the transmission fluid, the hydraulic transmission fluid from my tractor, I added diesel to it, and I put it on all of this wood and all of these logs. And it really didn't discolor it. It darkened them a little. It's still translucent, but it's going to soak into the wood. It's going to waterproof it, and it gives me a way to get rid of the stuff without dumping it on the ground. And I couldn't find a place to recycle that. So this is my way of recycling, and we're going to repurpose it on anything that's an outdoor thing other than my house. I don't want it to smell like diesel or a automotive factory, but my garage, I'm going to use it on that. That'd be just fine. And it's already stuff that I've paid for. The only thing that I got to pay for is the diesel. I think I paid $6 something a gallon for the diesel. And in this, I might have $18 in diesel tied up in it. And I don't even count the oil that I bought for the tractor as part of this because it's old oil. That was bought for the tractor. So it takes a 50-50 mixture if you're interested in ever doing this. So you'll put 50% diesel, so a half gallon to a half gallon of oil, whether it's motor oil, linseed oil, any kind of oil. I mean, I've got a 5-gallon bucket of linseed oil. I think I've used a quarter of it. I might mix diesel with that later and use that on future projects. I picked up some chestnut trees. There's my shovel that just fell. And that little box has 2 chestnut trees in it. They're a hybrid. And I'm going to plant those over here. And I'm hoping someday to be able to roast chestnuts over an open fire. So, yeah, I just thought that'd be kind of fun. Down below, I have an orchard started. I am going to get cherry trees added to that orchard. I have 1 peach tree. I want to get another one. I got pear trees down there. I got apple trees down there. Up here, I do have some blueberry plants, 2 of them that are alive out of 4. One of them's for sure dead. One of them looks like it's possibly gone. So I'll probably pick up a few more later. But I'm going to be planting a bunch of other cherry trees here out throughout this forest because I'm going to build a smoker eventually. That's one of the projects I'm going to do. And someday I'd like to be able to cut down limbs off cherry trees when I delimb them and stuff. And I'd like to use that stuff as smoking material. I have a chipper, so I could throw those limbs into the chipper, dump them into a bucket or a wheelbarrow, and use those later for smoking. Same with the apples. When I go and chip the apples, when I trim those trees in the fall, I'll be able to utilize that wood for smoking fish, smoking meats, smoking poultry, whatever. So I got a lot of plans, a lot of projects that are in store for the future. I hope you guys will be interested in seeing what I come up with, and watch this and like my videos. So I know I'm rambling on. I'll go ahead and stop rambling. I'll get busy digging and planting my chestnut trees. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you'll watch the video all the way through, because this is going to be at the end. And take care. I wish you all well. Okay, so I dug a hole here. It's pretty good. I always see what these chestnut trees look like. See if I can't pull these out. You know what I think I'll do? Bring them out through the bottom. I have to throw the box into a fire pit anyway. Because that's the tops right there, so I don't want to grab them by the tops. Looks like there's little sticks in there to hold them straight up and down, and probably keep them separated. We'll see. There's one of them. Well, there's the other one. Nice. I kind of thought they'd be dry root. They aren't. Look like they're nice, healthy trees. Dang. Impressive compared to the fruit trees I bought earlier in the year from another place. The fruit trees were not nice looking. This is the way they should be shipped. They should have dirt, root ball. I tell you what, pretty good chance. And then I'm going to try and bring this up so you can see it. That's the type that I bought. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put it in there. I got way more. I got about 1.5 times the depth of this. So we will bury it right up to the top of this and just a hair above that, maybe an inch. Drop soil in there. It'll be loose soil. And the hole's, you know, a good 2 feet across all directions. And I did that for both of them, so there's a nice big growing area for their roots to spread out. So let's take a look. And hopefully these guys will survive. This year I'm going to build a little structure around them. Go get some hay. I'm going to put hay around them. Wrap them up for winter time, because I get 3 feet of snow here and I don't want them to die just because they'll freeze totally. So I'm going to, and this is, you know, their first year, and this is September 1st. So we're going to start getting some cold weather here soon. They're going to go into hibernation until next year, or whatever, dormancy. That's what they call it. She's not no stinking animal. Yeah, they got soil around it. Looks like they got some shredded paper around it. This stuff, I'm just going to put in the bottom of this thing. It'll rot away. All right. So yeah, we're going to pop that in there and start putting some soil in there, and then we'll stand her up and we'll get some water in there, and then tomorrow I'll water them again. I'll just make sure for a while that they get lots of water. We're not going to get any rain really here anytime soon. But yeah, hopefully I'm lucky and they survive. Hopefully all my plants survive. So yeah, as I get this a little deeper, I'll start lifting it up. I'm just trying to get a little soil in here to start with. All right. Break up the roots a little bit, give them a little bit of a spread down here. All right, get a more soil around it, and I'll lift it a little more. And we'll get her in there. And we'll tamp her down by hand. It's probably not the most fertile soil. We are in a forest. So I'll probably come out here and I'll research and see what kind of fertilizer maybe to put in here. And then some of my composting stuff eventually will be going around it. The hay will deteriorate over time. That's going to be put around it. I did let go up in the area here where I'm going to garden. I've let go a bunch of worms, night crawlers. I've found night crawlers already up here previous, they're not really native to the forest here, I don't believe. So I was really surprised to find any. But that may have been from a time before me when somebody might have lived here. Well, somebody definitely lived here. There's an old dilapidated cabin. So they may have had plants of some sort and animals and stuff when they were living here. It's hard to say. All right, now we can start tamping this in and taking care of it. We are on a slight slope here. It's not as much of a slope as where I built, which this is real close to where I'm going to build my cabin. I mean, we're talking probably the part of the structure is going to be not more than 10 feet away from here. Maybe more than that, maybe 15 feet. I got a couple trees that are small here that I'm going to cut out, and is why I'm planting these trees here, is because I'm trying to still keep trees within the area, obviously. So I'm going to kind of keep this lower than top level here because I want water to be able to rest in here. So when I fill this up, I don't want it to just run down the hill, if that makes sense. I've got basically a trough that I'm building here. To keep the water in there that I pour in there. I'm excited. I love planting these different trees and fruit trees and stuff around here. I did the same thing at other homes I've had, but I've never stayed at them long enough. Last place not the last place, 2 places before, I had put basically an orchard in. I had 11 fruit trees. I had some blueberry plants, a whole bunch of stuff I planted in there. I had some along the deck, grapevines, table grapes, and I wasn't there long enough to enjoy any of that. So whoever got that place gets to enjoy all the stuff. There were pluets, there were Rainier cherries, there were apple trees. Let me show you what I did here so you can get an idea. So I don't know if you can see that there, but I kind of got a trough around it. That plant is down there deep enough. I'm going to do the same thing at the next place. I'll take you up there real quick where I'm going to put this plant. So right through here is kind of an area that I drive my tractor through. My milling area is right past the tractor there. That's my mill. And there's the deck. And if we turn 360 degrees around, And I walk over here a little bit. I can drive my tractor out through here. I'm going to clear some of these limbs off this pine. I'm going to keep this pine. But right out here is where I'm going to build. And it's smoky today because I think up in Canada they've got a big fire, and I'm not far from Canada. But I'm going to have all these mountains views. This big tree here is probably going to go bye-bye someday. Those two trees are going to possibly go bye-bye. And I'm going to build right out in here. And I'm going to clear out all this sagebrush here. Back over here. All this sagebrush out here is going bye-bye. Because this is going to be all the way to where you see my pickup. And my travel trail is right up there where I'm staying. But all this area here is going to be garden. It's not going to be a huge garden, but I get a lot of sun. As you can see, this is evening, and I got evening sun now. I get morning sun as well. Anyway, this is the kind of hole that we're dealing with right there. So I'm going to get the other one planted. I think you've seen enough. You know what I'm doing, and that's just the start of my planting.